Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres, and if you'd like to apply to be a guest on the show, just head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. All right, so today I have a very special return guest coming on the show. So I have Melissa Miller-Young. She's a team leader over at Women Connect for Good, and I'm proud to say an author in our most recently released Mission Matters book that we put together with Dr. Nancy and with Women Connect for Good. Melissa, welcome back to the show.
Hello, how are you? Thank you for having me.
Oh my gosh. So how do you feel? Like we're in 2025, it's January, we're just getting started. Like how are you feeling so far this year?
I feel an energy like I haven't felt since probably before COVID. Just there's a lot of energy. There's a lot of things moving, and a lot of them are moving in a really positive direction. So that's exciting.
Yeah. Well, let's get this episode started the way that we start them all, with what we like to call our Mission Matters Minute. So, Melissa, at Mission Matters, as you know, our aim and our goal is to amplify stories for entrepreneurs, executives, and experts. That's what we do. Melissa, what mission matters to you?
Gender equality. That's the big mission. I want my daughter to grow up and be able to use her voice and have the same rights, if not more, than what I experienced when I was her age. I think that passage of the ERA, gender equality, those are all within our grasp. And I think that they should be a non-issue.
Yeah.
I mean, equality is equality. We're all human beings. We're all here on earth. So that's my big focus right now, and a lot of our focus through Women Connect for Good.
Okay. So for those that maybe haven't caught some of our previous work together, maybe go a little bit further into Women Connect for Good and the mission there.
Okay, Women Connect for Good is a 501c3, as Dr. Nancy, our founder and president, likes to call it, a social profit. We're not a nonprofit, we're a social profit. And our work is to support organizations that have programming that benefits women and girls, whether that's job skills training, leadership training, things for the younger women. I mean, everything that we do is to raise up women and girls. And that's really important, because less than 2% of all philanthropic dollars are currently earmarked for organizations specific to women and girls. Less than 2%. That's crazy to think about. And that 2% number also carries over. Less than 2% of venture capital dollars are given to women-led startups. Less than 2% of, even though the return on investment is generally higher when it's a women-led startup, it's still less than 2%. I believe Catherine Gray, who has angel investors, she invests, I would have to look up the name specifically, but it's 1.9 there as well, which is crazy. I mean, some of that remaining 98.2% in the philanthropic space is for all people, and some of it is just for boys and men. But there are certain organizations that only benefit women and girls that aren't getting nearly the funding that some of their male counterparts are.
And how long have you been with the organization now? So how long?
I've been with the organization for 11 years. I've been the team leader since 2019. So.
And what makes you lean into this? I don't want to assume, because now that I've gotten to know you better, I've got to know Dr. Nancy better. I met your daughter. Like what makes you lean into this so passionately?
Well, I'm a woman. I have a daughter, but it pulls on the social justice, heartstrings for me a lot too. I started out as a journalist back in the 90s, and I did a lot of work in social justice, a lot of reporting work there. And so I've always had a desire to tell the stories that need to be told, and to share those stories, and then also to be a voice for the voiceless, and to help those who don't have a voice find it. And so it really is the perfect job for me, because I've always been social justice leaning, and this, gender equality is just, where do I sign up?
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about the book. I mean, the book, we've been working on this for the last year and a half. Maybe talk a little bit about the project, how it came together.
Well, the project, I don't even, it was I think that you and Dr. Nancy decided this
Yeah.
would be a great idea. And I had the good fortune to work with Jeff to
Hmm.
bring in the co-authors, which was wonderful. And then at the 11th hour, you guys were like, oh, by the way, you're going to contribute a chapter to this book too. The thing that was so humbling about this is that every co-author in this project, I mean, there's 12,
Mm.
are women who I know and respect. I mean, these are mighty, mighty women
Hmm.
that to have my name on the cover of this book with them is incredible.
Maybe talk about a couple of them. Just draw a name or two, and don't worry. And for everybody watching, by the way, there's going to be a link. There's going to be a link in the show notes, and you can pick up a copy of the book. And we're not going to name and or go into every author, but just a couple. Throw one or two out.
Gloria Felt,
Mm.
wow, talk about a hero in the gender equality space and in just in women's rights. And she was the head of Planned Parenthood for 30 years, and then in her retirement founded a powerhouse organization called Take the Lead Women. Her goal is gender equality in leadership and to open more doors for women. Her power model is so perfectly inspiring. She talks about, the old way to lead, and a lot of men, and this is nothing personal, but like they lead to have power over a
Mm.
situation or power over a person or a department. And women tend to want to lead, to have the power to make change, to make things easier for their families or their coworkers or their colleagues. And so she's just someone that I have such personal respect for. And to bring her into this project, her and Dr. Nancy are close. And so that was a no brainer to bring her in. But just getting to work with her in the process has been really exciting.
Mm.
And then, gosh, I could go on about every
I
single
know.
one.
I already know. That's why I said for everybody watching, and we're not going to
Yeah,
list them all. We're gonna definitely get into your chapter as
give
well.
me
But
two more.
go for it. Go for it.
Dr. Sheila Robinson, are you kidding me? That
Mm.
woman is a powerhouse. What she's built with Diversity Woman Media should be an inspiration to us all. I
Mm.
mean, she is incredible. And I just was able to attend her annual National Women's Business Leadership Conference in DC in November. And it was the first time that my schedule had aligned to be able to be
Mhm.
there. And it was the best conference I've ever been to. I mean, she had world-class speakers, and it was just incredible. And so to have her voice on this and to have her
Mm.
support with this project is super inspiring to me. And then I would also have to say Zakiya Thomas, to have her on
Yeah.
board with this. She is incredible. And her work with the ERA Coalition and her background and her passion and her power,
Mhm.
it's one of those moments where I think, how is this my life? Like, how am I just sitting here talking to this person? But it's yeah, to have her involved with the project it really took it to a different level. So
Mm.
I am just in awe and crazy for every single one of these people. And just to bring them all together in a project like this was just really, it's one of those moments where I think, how is this my life? How is this
Yes.
what I'm doing? How did little Missy Miller grow up to be able to do these things? And it's
I
grateful and
love
blessed.
it. I
Yeah.
love it. And you brought up you brought up Dr. Sheila Robinson, so I
Mhm.
have to bring up. I understand a little birdie told me that you were recently at that conference, I believe, awarded or made the Power 100 list. So first off, congratulations,
Well,
and
thank
and tell me
you.
about it.
Well, it wasn't at the conference. It was just, it's a blurb in the magazine, but to be
Mm.
included with 100, to be identified as someone to watch was once again, what? And it was such an honor to be asked. And it was funny. I was on the highway when the email came in, and
Yeah.
I saw it and I was like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And then I thought, I don't have a headshot, and I had to get everything in like a week. And I had my foot in a cast and hobbled in and got a headshot from a friend of mine, and was able to pull it off in time. But it was just like, of all the things happening at once, it was something. So
Oh, that's amazing. Well,
yeah.
congrats again. That's an
Well, thank
amazing
you. It was
honor,
it
and
was
and I do
definitely an
know.
honor.
Yes, and I do know Dr. Sheila's publication and what she's doing over Executive Women, and really a pioneer in media, a pioneer in women's rights, and really providing a platform for other women and executives to be heard, which I think is just, I mean, she's been doing this for a long time as well. So for everybody
Right.
watching that's not aware of Dr. Sheila's work, I mean, the magazine's been around like a couple decades, if I'm
She's
not
going
wrong.
into her 20th year.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what I
And I mean,
thought.
she is a case study on a woman to watch. I mean, you talk about one, you've got to see it to be it. Well, there it is.
Yeah.
Watch her. She's done it, and she continues to do it. So
I feel like you teed me up to perfect transition there, Melissa. Come on, you've got to see it to be it. Like it's
you
a
got to see it
lot,
to be it.
lot of things that you could have written about based off your career, your life, your background to contribute to this book. Why this topic? Why now?
Because I think it's important. I think that it's important for us as women to leave the road a little easier to travel for the generations that follow. I want to be able to, I mean, there's certain things that you can't imagine until you do them. And for
Mm-hmm.
me, it was always kind of a panic point. Like, I start my chapter out with, I had a baby when I was in college. My daughter was born, and she was such a surprise. Whoa, she was such a surprise. And I panicked and I thought, oh gosh. And so I found a friend who had a baby, and we also had the same car. She had great hair. It was wonderful. And I could see her. She had cleared the path. She had walked the road, and she survived. And there have been other pivotal moments in my life where I thought, okay, now what? When I started working for Women Connect for Good, I was a journalist turned marketing person turned pretty disenfranchised. The print markets had shifted a lot. I had lost some of my outlets for some of the social justice work I'd been able to do. And I found myself doing a lot of ad agency work, which was a little different for me. And when I got the opportunity to start working for Dr. Nancy and for Women Connect for Good, I once again was able to see it. I mean, she is such an example of grace and giving and generosity and walking into a room and being comfortable at the table and bringing other women with her. And so she illustrates the kind of woman that I'm ready to be at this phase in my life. She just has a personal strength and character that is so powerful. And so that was my latest see it to be it. But I think it's also important, like with the recent presidential election.
Yeah.
We had a woman of color, Democratic nominee, close. I mean, she's already broken so many barriers, Kamala Harris has. And little girls all over the world saw her. You always assume president is an old white man or until President Obama, but they have to see a woman doing it to know that they can. And that's what's important. And that's really what my chapter was all about from a personal standpoint and from a professional standpoint. I mean, it kind of ran the gamut and covered the evolution of my life and work to this point. And so if all women can continue to push and to break through barriers and to do things that have never been done before, more little girls are going to watch that and say, I could be president. I can be a doctor. I can be a scientist. I can be an astronaut, whatever they want to be. And the women who are in these roles, who are breaking through these glass ceilings, we need to shout their stories to the world. So other little girls can see them, like the STEM Barbies and stuff like that Mattel put out. Those are all so crucial because they have to know that they can.
Yeah.
And, some little girls are just born with, well, I can do anything. And they grow up and they're usually the ones that burst through the ceiling. But some of the other little girls are maybe a little more timid or maybe a little more unsure and, start to doubt themselves or to, I remember with my daughter in late elementary school, just to kind of conform with what society thought a girl should be instead of celebrate the girl that she is, And so I think that our place as role models is as important as our work. Reach back to the other generation. How can you help the next generation step forward? How can you share your knowledge with them? And Yeah, so being able to write about that was great, and being able to write about just the power of the community that I find myself in with these women and with my work is what?
So obviously there's a lot of key takeaways and a lot of takeaways from your chapter, and you explain, the overall breadth of it. But what do you hope, if there were like some specific takeaways, or what do you hope the readers walk away from this work with? What do you hope they walk away with?
From my chapter or the entire book?
No, from your
Okay, well,
chapter.
for my chapter, step out of the shadows. I lived my professional career until now largely the woman behind the curtain. I was the arranger, the media person, the
Yeah.
journalist in the back of the room. I was never the
And
voice.
I remember you telling me that when we first met, by the way. I remember you telling me that, and I was like, what? And you're like, yeah, no, this, that. And I love it now, because now we've done multiple interviews with each other. You're in our book. Like, it's amazing. I love to see this entire, your site,
It's
all the things you do.
it's wonderful. And I just want girls to realize they don't need to keep their voices down or,
Yeah.
stand in the shadows. Step out, step in, step out and do what it is you feel passionate about.
Yeah.
Step out and do what you think you need to do to help make a difference. And so I hope that my chapter gives women courage, and I hope that it leads them to look at the women around them to see who's walking the road that they want to be on, and to follow their lead, and to in turn lead by example.
Melissa, we're in 2025. January 16th is when we're doing
I
this
can't believe
live.
it.
So beginning of the year, we'll say, before we know it, we'll blink and it'll be December all over again. That being said, what's next? What's next for you? What's next for Women Connect for Good? What does the 2025 look like?
Well, we just did a blog post of what 2024 was, and that was so astonishing because there's only a fraction of what we did in this post. And, there are big years, and then there are big years, and
Yeah.
2024 was a big year.
You were busy. You and Dr. Nate, I could not keep up with conference or where you're at. You went to DC, I feel like 1,000 times. I don't know.
I feel like it too. There's more of that planned. We've got a lot of different things going. We've got some travel coming up, some things that we're firming up in terms of conferences and support and participation, which is always exciting. We're bringing in a youth advisory. We're building a youth advisory council within Women Connect for Good. Our goal there is to empower the next generation to step up and lead. We've had the really good fortune to meet with some younger women and different activists, and it's wonderful. I mean, we need them to know that we see them. We want to help them pave the way to step up and lead. So we want to talk to them about the importance of philanthropy, about giving, whether it's time, treasure, or talent, how you can give to your local community, or then we want to help them understand the importance of different types of leadership. I mean, what's it going to be? Is it going to be activism? Is it going to be leadership in the workplace? Are you going to run for school board or state office? I live in a district in a very purple part of a flyover state. And we have a young woman who, she's my state rep. She turned a red district blue. She knocks on doors 12 months out of the year. She talks to her constituents. She is amazing. And she's young. And she's such an example for all of the young girls in the community to think, I too could do that. So that's very exciting, just to be able to bring them in and give them the tools that they need. And I think that it'll be an exciting opportunity for them too, because we hope to not only involve them in some sort of a participatory grant program, but also to just expose them to some of our friends, bring different leaders in once a month or once a quarter to talk to them, whether it be one of the co-authors from this amazing book.
Yes.
Whether it be other women that we know that can just help them be well-rounded and ready.
Well, Melissa, this has been a lot of fun having you back on the show. As always, a pleasure. If somebody's watching or listening to this and they want to connect and they want to learn more about Women Connect for Good, Dr. Nancy, your work, anything else, how do they do that?
go to drnancyoreilly.com.
Mhm.
There's a contact us form that comes directly to me and to Dr. Nancy. So we're the first ones who see it. You can also reach me at melissa@drnancyoreilly.com, or on LinkedIn, I'm at Word Miller. But yeah, I would love to hear from anybody who wants to talk about these things.
Fantastic. And for everybody watching, just so you know, we'll definitely put the links to the website in the show notes, so you could just click on the link and head right on over. And speaking of the audience, if this is your first time with Mission Matters and you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe or follow button. This is a daily show. Each and every day we're bringing you new content, new ideas, and hopefully new inspiration to help you along the way in your journey as well. So again, hit that subscribe or follow button. And in the show notes, there's going to be a link to the book that we're mentioning today, what we did with Dr. Nancy O'Reilly and Women Connect for Good. So definitely pick up a copy of that. And Melissa, again, thank you so much, and looking forward to another great year with you and Women Connect for Good. So thank you.
I'm looking forward to it. Thank you so much.